Good afternoon, evening, morning, midnight, whenever you happen to be watching this. When I was growing up, my mother was given a gift of a book called The Best Loved Poems of the American People. I wore that book out. And when I got married, had my first child, I found a copy of my own. You see this book? Best Loved Poems, wrong way. The Best Loved Poems of the American People. It's by Doubleday. They've had it for years. You can still get it, still purchase it. This is how popular it is. But I really loved reading this book because it was put together in 1939, I think, of stuff that had already been written, published, various places, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to read you a poem today that seems to summarize the non-common sense method of taking care of problems. For instance, the fire in California, the relief effort in North Carolina. I need not go on. But this is called A Fence or an Ambulance. 'Twas a dangerous cliff, as they freely confessed, though to walk near its crest was so pleasant. But over its terrible edge there had slipped a duke and full many a peasant. So the people said something would have to be done, but their projects did not at all tally. Some said put a fence around the edge of the cliff. Some said an ambulance down in the valley. But the cry for the ambulance carried the day, for it spread through the neighboring city. A fence may be useful or not, it is true, but each heart became brimful of pity for those who had slipped over that dangerous cliff, and the dwellers in highways and alley gave pounds or gave pence not to put up a fence, but an ambulance down in the valley. For the cliff is all right if you're careful, they said, and if folks even slip and are dropping, it isn't the slipping that hurts them so much as the shock down below when they're stopping. So day after day, as these mishaps occurred, quick forth would these rescuers sally to pick up the victims who fell off the cliff with their ambulance down in the valley. Then an old sage remarked, "It's a marvel to me that people give far more attention to repairing results than to stopping the cause. When they'd much better aim at prevention, let us stop at its source all this mischief," cried he. "Come, neighbors and friends, let us rally. If the cliff we will fence, we might almost dispense with the ambulance down in the valley." "Oh, he's a fanatic," the others rejoined. "Dispense with the ambulance? Never! He'd dispense with all charities too if he could. No, we'll support them forever. Aren't we picking up folks just as fast as they fall? And shall this man dictate to us? Shall he? Why should people of sense stop to put up a fence while the ambulance works down in the valley?" But a sensible few, who are practical too, will not bear with such nonsense much longer. They believe that prevention is better than cure, and their party will soon be the stronger. Encourage them then with your purse, voice, and pen, and while other philanthropists dally, they will scorn all pretense and put up a stout fence on the cliff that hangs over the valley. Better guide well the young than reclaim them when old, for the voice of true wisdom is calling. To rescue the falling is good, but 'tis best to prevent other people from falling. Better close up the source of temptation and crime than deliver from dungeon or galley. Better put up a strong fence around the top of the cliff than an ambulance down in the valley. This was written by Joseph Malins. I remember the first time I read this, I had to be maybe 10. And I went, now this guy makes sense. Unfortunately, I had a family full of the others who thought the ambulance would work better. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, let me see if I can get this to show up really good. The Best Loved Poems of the American People by Doubleday. I'm sure you can probably find a copy. Amazon might be available. If you look on thriftbooks.com, they often have used copies that have shown up, you know, from people who've died and stuff like that. They get into the system. So this is, reminds me so much of Democrats and RINOs. They just aren't using their noggins when it comes to how to make a decision about how to handle problems. And there's a reason for that. It's because, well, it feels good, you see, for people to depend on them, to save them from whatever mess they have gotten themselves in. Not realizing that it costs more to do that than it does to stop the problem at the source. The wildfires in California, as one example. The reservoirs had been full. If the fire hydrants worked, those firefighters could have done their job properly. They could have handled it. They could have solved. They could have saved. But no. Mayor of LA, Governor of California, Bass and Newsom, as well as other people around them. Why did they think it was a good idea not to be prepared? Why did they think it was a good idea not to remove fuel from the fire? Well, it's because they wanted to make money off the ambulances, if you get my drift. Well, this is Angela saying toodaloo. Oh, wait. Of course I talk to myself. Sometimes I need expert advice. I know, I'm funny, but I didn't invent the t-shirt. Okay. Talk to y'all later.